Good morning, I am John. Today is Monday, January 2nd, 2023. I guess let me get started with this first vlog of the new year by saying Happy New Year. If you're just watching for the first time, a quick update and recap. In this vlog, I've been documenting my journey. 2 months ago now, the beginning of November 2022, I was laid off from my longtime career, and rather than jump right back in the workforce, I'm taking the savings that I had accrued and using it to support myself while I try very much to take my hobby of content creation for the internet and roll that into a full-time sustainable job that I'm working on doing. Just a few weeks into that now, but we are moving the needle already, so that's good news. And in these vlogs, I document the progress, what I'm doing, almost like a daily stand-up, and talk a little bit about how I'm feeling and how things are going. So if you watched before the new year happened, you will know that I took a few days off and my daughter and I drove up into Tennessee area and just did something. We used to take these regular daddy-daughter vacations. That's sometimes hard to say. We used to take these daddy-daughter vacations just between Christmas and New Year's and, fly somewhere, see something, visit a city or someplace with an aquarium or whatever, touristy spot. We hadn't done that in a few years because she's grown. She's in her early 20s now and, has obligations. And we weren't going to do it this year because, laid off and all of that. But we talked about it quite a bit, and we kind of split the cost and we minimized the cost so that we could do our tradition that we hadn't done in some time. And we drove this time. We didn't fly, which wasn't bad. It was like a 7-hour drive, and we had a really nice time. It wasn't fireworks and super exciting, but it was get away, do something interesting, and kind of reset my brain a little bit is what I hoped it would do. And I'll see if that's successful or not as I get going in the new year here. So as you can imagine, if you thought I did almost nothing for GenXGrownUp during Christmas weekend, imagine how little I did if I was away out of town. Now, I did take my laptop and I was, keeping up, and I was posting something on YouTube every single day. In fact, I had created them before I left and I had scheduled them and I was managing them across posting to Facebook, which just takes, a few minutes a day. So I was doing that from my hotel. You'll remember that we were working very hard with a subscriber drive or GenXGrownUp. We wanted to hit 18,000 before the end of the year. Well, before I left, we had hit 18,000. And now, in fact, this is just the second day of the new year. And we're well beyond that 18,000. We almost made it to 18,100 as we've been kind of on par to get about 100 subscribers every 7 to 10 days, give or take. And so now we're nearly 18,100. We would love to see that grow to happen faster, but progress is progress. Also, being the end of the year and the end of the month, YouTube also gives you some stats. And looking at the stats, I saw that December had more views and more hours watched than any other month in the last year at all. And November was the old winner. December was above November. So pushing that trend is what I want to keep doing, right? I want to keep building and building and building. We'll see if I'm able to do that. Everything can't be the hockey stick going up, but I'm certainly hopeful and targeting to make this continual growth. Okay, so let's wash away. That's the old year into the new year today. What am I doing today to get going? Well, because I didn't get a lot done over the weekend, as I often do, I've got some prep work. I owe some people some stuff. I have to get the podcast prepped for video and pass that over to Mo, who's going to do the long forms. I'll start editing the short forms that can go out as reels and short content on all socials. A lot more speculative stuff has come up on tweets from Atari and My Arcade, who I had done a speculative piece last week about. I think they're working together, and they are. They've announced that, but now they put out more teaser images. So I think a video on that is demanded because both the videos I did on that last week have done well. And so, one thing about YouTube you've got to learn, especially, is if you see something that does well, you gotta follow up. You gotta double dip, triple dip. You gotta keep working on that. And it sounds like I'm saying I'm tricking some of the algorithm or something. It's really just if you see a trend that people are interested in hearing from you about, do more of that. It's not like I'm going to do something that has no value. I could do anything that has value. Pick the thing of value that has the most interest from an audience. Now, that's easier said than done, but when you hit on one, when you find something, as we've done with, this collaboration between Atari and My Arcade, the, gadget manufacturer, and they're watching, you gotta keep still following the story, which I wanted to do anyway. That's why I did it in the first place, and it's resonating. So definitely getting going on that. So beyond that, definitely get that video out today. Continue to prepare more shorts, continue to work on the podcast. I kind of have this little machine going of creating the things that I know to create, and I know what today is gonna be. And just keep following up on the information that is available and recreating the next piece of content. See what happens each day and follow it up from there. Mental wise, as I wrap up this video, I guess I will just say that, coming out of the old year, I think I was still, up until the last couple of weeks, I was still pretty shell-shocked and adapting to this method of working, this being my own independent supplier and boss, and not really answering to anybody and creating my own schedule. And being a procrastinator myself, it's easy to not do things. But I found that, I'm overcoming most of my procrastination pretty well because even if it's something I want to do, if it's effort, I'll often go, well, I'll do it in a little while. And I still do that. But invariably, I find I do get up and get going on that thing, because ultimately it's something I want to do. It's much harder to stop procrastinating on things that you don't care about. So in the new year, obviously I'll start working more on that procrastination thing, although I'm over it enough that what I'm doing is sustainable right now. It's getting a little more motivation. I think that's paramount to me. I see a lot of friends who are posting on LinkedIn or posting social or messaging me or whatever, and I hear back from the old job that I left, and one of my dear friends just left there at the end of the year, and he put out this thing on LinkedIn about how it's my last day here or whatever, and a commenter said, "It's not really surprising who's still left there anymore," and it's an exaggeration, but surely a great number of talented people have left that company, and I kind of think that. That procrastination I talked about is almost like how my hand was forced when I was let go, because I had said before I was quite unhappy with what my current role was at my old job, and I was really just hanging in there until or unless or hoping against hope that things would get better. And there's nothing will get you off your procrastination like a side swipe, blind side that comes along and says, you've got to do this, therefore you've got to stop doing nothing. I'd always said that I'd really hoped that maybe someday I could focus on this full time and see if I could pull it off. So that was the absolute number one just crutch kicker for my procrastination is, hey, you know what? You always wanted to just not have a job and do this. You don't have a job and do this. So I'm going to take that as a sign, as a lesson that it was time for me to attempt to do this and find out whether or not it's sustainable or viable. That's where I'm at right now. Okay, I know a lot of you still have today off. If you have a regular job, this is often a makeup day for New Year's Eve. So if you're off, have a great day off. I want to thank you so much for tuning in and catching the vlog today. If you're one of my friends or colleagues or strangers even who hang in with me, who watch this vlog every day, I love you. Thank you for being here, going along for this journey with me. I want you to do something great for yourself today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.